Guys, welcome back. I will show you today why I believe we are in a massive potential setup right now for Bitcoin and what that exactly means. So let's go. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in here again. Let me just pull up the chat as usual so I see what's going on with you guys. So there we are. Let me know in the chat again when you don't see the stream or the stream freezing, so really important, because it was last time yesterday so annoying. So but let's jump here directly straight into the charts again. I don't want to lose here any time. The DXY came here a little bit lower again today. This looks to me super bearish from a structure perspective, because we have here this overall downwards trend, and when I see then here this rounding shape coming up, that usually leads to continuation to the downside. So right now we are briefly above 108 points, but I don't think that the DXY will keep staying there for a really long time, and that we're still going to see here potentially by tomorrow the turnaround here to the downside and break below that. If it's not happening tomorrow, then most likely on Monday it's going to happen, and that will of course then give some relief to risk on assets like Bitcoin and the other altcoins in the market. So when I look here again at the order book is telling me that the sell side is weakening. We had yesterday 400 Bitcoin more in the market. They are gone, so they were bought up. But on the buy side, nothing really changed. So that means they were bought up while the order book maintained the same amount of bits that were before there. So there were additionally bits that bought up the other 400 Bitcoin. Or what could also be happen is that the people that actually had the Bitcoins for sale, they actually canceled their orders. 1 second, guys. Yes, hello? Yes? What they don't have? Okay, then cancel, no problem. Yes, thank you. Sorry, that was my dinner. So let's get on here. So on the weekly chart, this candle, of course, looks horrible, but we have over 3.5 days left to turn us around here, at least a little bit, and I believe that this will definitely be happening here. I am not expecting that we see here any major turn down or this candle actually becoming red here by the end of the week and closing this candle actually in red here, especially with the indicators all technically pointing here to a bullish continuation. When we're going then into the 12-hourly chart, also here, nothing really to be scared about. We are only retesting currently the EMA ribbon. Remember, guys, I pointed that out that this might be the case that we come as low as the top or here a little bit into the ribbon, and from there I expect a bounce back to the upside, because right now we are on the bottom of the stochastic RSI. So here in the next almost 11 hours, you're gonna see here again an uptick, which will lead to a new buy signal on the stochastic RSI, and also the RSI is already slowly turning around, which is another sign that the sell side is getting weaker and weaker, and that we are getting soon here the bounce that everybody is waiting for. I know that a lot of you guys are struggling right now to holding on to your positions, but I can tell you, it looks to me like that we are really close to get the bounce that will get you out of the woods. Now on the MDX algo scalp gradients, here right now in a light blue phase, and also here I'm not worried as long as we are staying above the weekly open. The weekly open is sitting at $101,300 approximately. So as long as we keep bouncing from that level and are able to close today's candle above the 2.272 level on the Fibonacci extensions, we should be fine and getting the continuation move that we are waiting for here. So at the same time, on the 4-hourly chart, it looks to me like that we are potentially getting here a W shape forming up. So, and if we want to complete a W, we have to go up here in the next 8 to 12 hours. So unless we are breaking the weekly open, that would actually lead to a further move lower, and that move could bring us as low as slightly below $100,000, just like here back to that big order block. And from there, I expect then that bounce back into higher levels. But for now, we are good. For now, everything is looking fine as long as we are staying above the weekly open. So if we are forming here a W pattern, then this here will be the neckline of it. This here will be roughly your target line. And here you see $113,400 that is getting us really, really close to the technical target on the Fibonacci levels on the weekly, on the price target on the trade that we have on the weekly chart. So there you see again that we have some confluence for that specific target. So am I still logged in here in my account? Yes. So here, guys, just that you see again, over $1 million. I did it, guys. Within 2 months, I managed to turn this from 100,000 into $1 million. And now ZoomX has a competition going on. Let me actually try to pull this up. Where is the link? Where can I send the link to? Actually, let me see if I can do it directly on ZoomX. ZoomX, because I think it's on the home page. Don't remember me. Let's see if we can see it here. Co-influence contest, was this? No, this is another one. I cannot see it. Okay, you know what, guys? I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna send you that specific. Here, there it is. CNC, ZNC. So that is the competition, guys. So there are bonuses if you sign up right now, where you get free money again. So I would take advantage of that, guys. Choose. I think you get automatically added to the nationality that you gave ZoomX, so make sure that you give the correct one, and then the country that is winning is getting then here an estimated reward. The more people are participating, the higher the reward will be, you know, so make sure that you sign up on ZoomX if you don't have an account yet, and get into the competition. If you have an account, you can of course also enroll in it. There's no problem, guys, you know, so, and you have here another 13 days to take part in that. So now on the liquidation levels, here we have actually taken out, I think yesterday, the high leverage liquidity that was sitting up here. Now there is a little bit more here around $105,000, $106,500. But once that is taken out, there is then again almost nothing left here above us, even though it starts to look a little bit more dense again. So I hope over the next couple of days that we are getting here some DJs coming back into the market, trying to short Bitcoin even more and getting us the liquidity that we need to push here past $110,000. $110,000 for a Bitcoin. So here on the downside, here we see more or less the same thing unfolding that we saw up here. The closer the price gets to this level, the more high leverage positions are getting closed. And then it becomes quite uninteresting to move the price down here, you know. So if the biggest part of the liquidity is gone, the biggest position sizes, why would you still go for it? So here, I don't see the price coming down now to the 200 moving average around $98,000 and bounce from there again. So here you see more or less in alignment what I said earlier. Here closer to the $100,000 mark might be the lowest that we get here, if it's actually happening, and we are not turning around before that already. Then on the liquidation heat map, I need here a 3-day chart. So also here you see there is a high concentrated area around $108,000 and $107,000. That is in my opinion, once we are starting to bounce from here, you see here again, $100,700 might be the area where we come down to. And from there, we should get then the bounce all the way up to at least $108,000 and liquidate everybody on the way up. A short squeeze will most likely be initiated here from around $103,500, $104,000. And that will give us the fuel to push it closer to $110,000 once again for Bitcoin. Here on the 1 hourly chart is a really, really simple line that you can watch if you want to get into a new Bitcoin trade. And that's just here, this downward sloping trend line. We are currently trading below the mid-range. Let me actually adjust this a little bit. So here's the mid-range. So that is sitting at $104,600 approximately. So once we are starting to break the downward sloping trend line, you can start building a Bitcoin position, a small one, guys, a small one. And you add to that position when you break above $104,600. There you're gonna add, you can add a last time here at 110 roughly, and then I would let it ride. I would not add later on again to that trade. And then you let it ride for most likely the rest of the bull run. So I would not touch that position anymore, not add anymore. Just let it run, and on the way higher, you just keep trailing up your stop losses. That would be all what I would be doing with. Why am I saying I would wait for the downward sloping trend line to be broken? Because the MACD is about to flip bearish here a little bit. The RSI is not turning around yet, even though I see here a small turn, a really small one, but not convincing enough yet for me. Okay, the stochastic is going up here, but I need some green candles in the moving in direction of that downward sloping trend line to get more confidence. That I would say right now is a good moment to actually add to a position. So I like to trade on technical aspects and not what I feel like, what I want to do. And therefore I will wait until this trend line is broken, or if we come all the way down here to the bottom of that range, that would be another point where I would start opening like 10% or something like that of the overall position size that I'm looking at. So on Bybit, my Bitcoin trade is starting to look not so nice anymore. It was for the last 2.5 days in profit. Now it's a little bit in a loss here. That is the position where I'm actually going to add to at a later stage. I will just open here quick. Let's make it 700. So that's that you see that I put my money where my mouth is. So, and I think I'm gonna add another $3,000 to it. That should be fine. Yes, so another $3,000 will get triggered if we move another $700 to the downside, and that's absolutely fine for me. And then I think I'm gonna leave that trade for a long time. That way, and will not touch it anymore. Again, if you want to trade on Bybit, there is a link in the description. One of my favorite exchanges. I have the debit card from them. I spend all my crypto money with that debit card. If you want one, make sure that you sign up with the link in the description below. And today, I'm gonna pull 2 people that gonna get their accounts funded with $500 in the next 24 hours. Also, only if you sign up right now on Bybit, you stand a chance to get your account funded with $500 through the week. I will more or less every day, every second day, I'm gonna pull 1 or 2 winners that gonna get their account funded with $500. Remember, you can only trade with it, you cannot withdraw it. If you try to withdraw it, you will have 0 in the account, so you can only withdraw the profits, guys. So please don't try it. I have done it in the past when Bybit gave me money many years ago to trade with, and I could keep the profits, and they said don't try to withdraw it. I tried it, and then the money was gone. I had to ask again to get new money. This doesn't work here, so that's why I'm telling you beforehand, so that you should not try to withdraw it. So let's move on here. On the Bitcoin dominance, nothing has really changed. The overall trajectory is still to the downside. We keep printing here lower highs since Sunday, actually. So now we are at first day, and in the best case scenario, that downwards trend will keep going here. We can print from time to time here a green candle. That is absolutely no problem as long as we are not breaking here the almost 60% mark. So even if we would get one candle that goes over that lower high here from Sunday, it would be not the end of the world as long as we are not going above 60% and starting from here to turn around and break below 58%, and then finally getting into the proper altcoin season that everybody's waiting for. So here on the total free market cap, that of course does look right now a little bit ugly, but that was more or less expected, you know. So I told you that when we get here that move to the upside, that we will come one more time down, and then we get the major expansion into a new all-time high here also on the total free market cap. So in the next, let's say 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours, we could see that move here closer to like $1.01 trillion, $1.02 trillion, and from there start bouncing back to the upside and getting the continuation that we are looking for. So Ethereum is holding on to that $3,200 bottom here. As long as we are staying above that level, I'm not really concerned. The line in the sand for me is here definitely $3,000 more or less. So if we close below that level, a couple of 4-hourly candles, then things start to look really, really bad here. But I can see that the indicators are overextended. They're all oversold. So also here, I think that the worst, it will be soon over. But we can only confirm, really confirm that, as I mentioned many times already, when we get here above the Fibonacci level and form here some support, because then we get the continuation that we are looking for. So, but these levels down here, they are every single time really good to open low leveraged long positions on Ethereum or for spot accumulation. So that's what I would do here if I would not have already a really big position here on Ethereum. So then Solana, I lined out the case a couple days ago, and now look at this. If I move this a little bit higher, you see that we are more or less following this here. So for Solana, I don't expect if we get here a steeper move back into that green box here. For me, it looks more like that we are getting ready for takeoff. We only need to break here $270. There's right now the major resistance for Solana. Once that resistance is broken, I believe that we are getting a new all-time high really soon, actually sooner than everybody is expecting here. So if you want to open a trade on Solana, I would potentially wait for a reclaim of $249, and from that level I would start building a position all the way up to $270. There I would stop, and then I would trade this into $360, $400, potentially even higher than that. So but around these levels I would start take some money off the table and start raising my stop losses. Then Algo, yesterday was looking not that bad. Today we are almost at the bottom of the stop loss. So, but I can tell you, once this is turning around and comes back into the buy zone here at 41 cents, I would start buying this and open a long position, because the trade setup overall is still valid. We only need to come back to the original entry. So what I would not do is open a trade when we bounce here off that trend line, if we're getting that low to like 38 cents, because there is a risk that when we come down to touch that we actually break through this and come here back into the buy order block, and only from here bounce back to the upside. So that's why I would still wait for a reclaim of the 41 cent level. And at the same time, you can see here that we have a bullish divergence with RSI printing lower highs, but lower lows, and the price printing higher lows, at least at the current stage. So here is a bullish divergence, and the stochastic is also already flatlining here at the bottom. MACD also looks like that it wants to turn around, so there might be also soon coming that bounce back to the upside. Sui starts to look really ugly here overall. I'm not really happy with how Sui looks here, but also here when I look here at the stochastic RSI and the RSI, it looks like that we are really close to a turnaround here back to the upside. But we get confirmation when we close at least 2 free candles above $4.36 in the following 12 to 24 hours, that would be a good signal here for a potential reversal back to this downward sloping trend line and potentially back also here into a new all-time high past $5. What was it? $5.37. Then DOT was one of the coins that caught also today my eye, because it looks like that we are also getting ready here for a bounce based on the indicators. So if I would be looking here for an entry, so there's two ways how I would enter currently in DOT. Either we break into this zone here. Now let me actually make this white. Or you wait until this downward sloping trend line is broken. So you see both is more or less aligning. So there's no big difference. It's just depending on what your risk appetite is. Do you want to wait until this downward sloping trend line is broken, or do you want to wait until the horizontal level is broken? So price-wise, there's not even 1% of a difference. So it doesn't make a huge difference, you know. So that's what I want to say with that. To open a trade here, and I would then trade this here into $7.91 to the upside. XRP pulling back here a little bit more. The golden ratio is the line in the sand. Lose the golden ratio, and I would sell my position, because then we risk to go much, much lower. But until then, I am personally still holding a low leveraged XRP position from $3.27. Not gonna lie, that's where I entered, because I thought here at that stage that we are getting continuation, and it did not happen, you know. So and instead we pulled back, but like I said, it's low leveraged. I can withstand, I think, to go all the way down to like $2.50 or something, which I'm not expecting to be happening here anytime soon. The indicators looking here still a little bit bearish on the daily chart, but I think when I go in the 12-hourly, 12-hourly looks already much better. And that might be an early indication that also here a turnaround is already brewing for the next 24 hours, that we are going to see here a reclaim of $3.30, potentially with continuation. Here, the major level is also this downward sloping trend line. And at the same time, you have also here that horizontal level. Oh, come on. So this horizontal level, once one of the two is broken, we're going to get continuation, most likely in the next Fibonacci extension level of the 1.618 to $4.32. So now, when you look here, price-wise, $3.27, that's where I entered. So 32%, you know, a low leverage trade that will give me over 100% of a profit. I'm absolutely fine with that, because it's also a bigger position. That's why it's low leveraged. The next one is Cardano. Cardano also looking like that it wants to bottom out here. You see here that major sell-off to the downside from $1.16 all the way back here to 96 cents. Yeah, you see here that is almost a 19% move. So that looks to me like that Cardano is also more or less done here with the sell-off. And especially when you see a wicks like this all the time, that shows you that buyers are stepping in and trying to push the price back up. And that is then eventually happening at a certain point. And that when I look here at the indicators at the same time, it looks like to me that this here is the early beginning of that turnaround. So once you see here that current candle flipping green or and closing in green, I would potentially already start nibbling here with like 5-10% on a position of the total position size, and then would keep gradually adding to it the higher we go. So until like $1.03 potentially, that's where I would add, and then I would get out at $1.22 or $1.34. These are the levels that I'm currently looking at. The next one is HNT. And then I'm going to do some coins that you guys want me to look at. So here we have a downwards sloping parallel channel that we're currently in. That doesn't look all too good on the 4-hourly chart. Let's see on the daily chart. On the daily chart, also not really that good. We are here in a buy cluster. As long as we are holding this buy cluster here, this big order block, we should be fine. So, but we can come here down another 4%. Before we potentially get here any reaction back to the upside. So, and I think here, yeah, on the 12 hourly, it also does not look better. So here I would definitely wait for, let's see, a horizontal level. Yeah, at least a little bit lower. Yeah, here, that's the level. $4.60. $4.60 is the level that I would be looking at right now if I would to build a position, not before that. And if we go lower, then you might get a chance. You might get a chance all the way down here at $3.53. So if we're losing at order block on the daily chart, then I think we go all the way down to $3.53. It doesn't look like right now that we are going there, but just in case, so I would potentially set some limit orders, especially if you are sleeping, just in case that they actually will get hit. So now, I just did Polkadot earlier, so I'm not looking at Polkadot. I also did Cardano. Are you guys sleeping or what's going on? So I'm gonna look here quick at Link. I think I don't have a Link chart open here right now, so I'm gonna do it now. Link. So Link is looking good. Link is not looking that bad actually. That also looks like early turnaround, but you need to wait until this candle is closing. So if this candle can stay green, I would consider opening here a position or add to my Link position if you have one, because the overall trajectory target here remains to be $29, $30, around that range, because there's the next bigger sell cluster, and once we're breaking here this small downward sloping trend line that you see here, I think that we're going to start moving here back to like $26 and then go higher from there. Let's see here. Grift AI agent. Let's have a look. I think I never looked at Grift. Let's see if the price reflects that. No, this is Bitcoin. Grift only on MACD, on leverage, and on KCX. Okay, that's already some. No, this is not the best AI coin. This is a shitcoin right now. So I'm gonna have a look here. Let's see here. Let's have a look about AVAX. See how this looks. Not too bad. I think we need here one more 4-hourly candle to get a little bit more confirmation. Yeah, but I think tomorrow, most of the coins will start to turn around. So that's why the title, so it's a setup. People try to get to shake you out of your positions, and then tomorrow everything goes back up and you are sidelined. So that's why I'm also holding on to all my positions. I don't care. I keep holding them because I know that in the next 2 to 3 weeks we are going to get a massive move here in altcoins to the upside, and I don't care if I need to hold here another, in the worst case, another 4 or 5 days before we're going to see here a reaction in the market back to the upside. So I rather hold them and look a little bit at the red on my phone than missing out on that turnaround that is here happening. So here with AVAX, here I would be looking at this downward sloping trend line here. For once, if I want to build a big position, I would wait for that break here of $38.66 or 60 roughly. If you want to nibble a little bit, you can technically do that with the next 4-hourly candle if it starts pushing to the upside. But also again, 5-10%, not more than that. And you go bigger into that trade once you are breaking here that downward sloping trend line and closing at least one 4-hourly candle above that. So if you see one going up and the next coming back down, that would be potentially a point where I would then close a little bit of that position again, just to protect myself if it keeps then dipping, and I would get out around the $37 level. So just to minimize the loss on that trade here. So to the upside, $52 is still the target for me. I'm gonna do one more. So let's see here. What else do we have? Let's have a look at Sonic. How's Sonic looking right now? I actually did not look in a long time at Sonic. Sonic keeps dipping and looks not good on a 4-hourly chart. That looks like we go lower on Sonic. This is really, really not good. So when you look here at this, so unless we start to break here, this downward sloping trend line, let's see how bad does it. 12-hourly. It looks like it will also bounce soon, but I think you have to give it another 2 days or something, because I don't like how the 4-hourly is looking. That looks like that we could come a little bit lower into the 40 cents something before we are finding major support, and you're gonna get a nice bounce here. So somewhere here, most likely this is the zone that we come down to, and then it starts turning around. And that's what I would be looking for. So if I would like to add to a trade on Sonic or to open one, this is the zone where I would place my limit orders. And then if it will not go there, then once it breaks this the downward sloping trend line, there will be the other point of entry for me here to the upside. And the first target that I would have for the trade would be all the way back up here to 76.82 cents roughly. Guys, I have to run. Thank you so much for tuning in here today. Don't forget, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you with more profit, hopefully, tomorrow.